for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Here me responsible. I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say, now we all responsible. Now we did good things, then we're sensible.
If you be the sleep, it's not self for wake by you dream. Now face reality, because this year not so fame. One talk say you're dirty, and you young dirty force you for clean. You know want for work like a slave, but you want for it like a king. Hey, Salomon, so like ready made. How you go get work, but you no land trade. You no land book, you no get talent, and you aid. But you want for sleep, now as a bed. You know they study, but you want pass. You dey get way where you come in a class. Hope yes, and listen to me fast. You go feel like you dey see yourself by glass.
Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Here me responsible. I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say, now we all responsible. Now we did do things, then we're sensible.
A small thing happen so una begin for point finger. You keep you young a box or a bossing in young. You pull on a window. Then they begin blame Timini. Then Loco begin blame Limba. Before back they blame them juice. Well then juice back go blame Ginger. We can sabi for identify the problem, but we not can sabi find the solution. You wait fat, you fat, now you back one gumble, but here pollution. As they give you money for shape, you go shape small. On the rest you go pull up. Politician demo, citizen demo. We all now don't mix bad collusion.
Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Here me responsible. I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say, now we all responsible. Now we did good things, then we're sensible. If we don't know, sorry come on. Let me know, we sorry they go. If you don't work for money, how you expect now for make it flow? If you know one day plant stress, how you want for make it go? If you need Bible tell you say, you go reap what you sow. All time you want make salon do for you, but you don't do for salon. You dey throw away dirty in the street, now the country. Or you dey bluff say now you young. You still dey invest your money overseas, but you dey talk say no place like home. All man just care but empathy, all man just care but his own. Salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? If salon for better, salon for crow. Now who that responsible? Here me responsible. I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say, now we all responsible. Now we did good things, then we're sensible.
How many of we as Sierra Leoneans go proud say we get national ID card? Instead all day we prefer forget green card. We prefer for pay tax na other man country, but we can salon when we own. When they say pay tax, begin Swiss space like who that drink bang bar. Life for be an example. You want for talk but other person in you. Now we all responsible, yeah? Me, you, and Papa government. Innocent fella Kuti. Political Banika 2017. I got Lee on the beat.
Okay. Hello, I'm Bolem. We don't come back today. We don't come back today. Today we get to discuss something we very important for we. But before we start this discussion, we get to take time out because it has been a long time I've not been online. There are several reasons for that. And we don't come back, and I want to take some time out to express my condolence and heartfelt wishes to the people that were involved in the recent fire in Wellington. It's sad that a country with so much potentials therefore go down this lane. The lane where we dey, we dey hope and pray that it not take we to another round of crisis. Because from every look, we are gradually sliding back to that. We slide back to that because the people who get the moral and ethical responsibility for make the country. And when I say the people, them are not they talk to about political parties, they talk about a class of people. Those calling themselves the intellectuals. They have a moral and ethical responsibility. This is how it is all over the world. Education is not about going to get a degree for can enrich yourself. It's about acquiring knowledge so that you can be of service to the universal existence where they call humanity. This greed and selfishness we don't take over this world. Now in the lead we are astray. Everybody want for sure. This ego, I. Just walk and walk honestly. Whatever is yours will come to you. You will be rewarded. There is no work that goes without reward. But that is not our topic today. The only thing is a heart rending for make some of we they see a country with so much potentials. They slide back. If the intellectual class of Sierra Leone is ready, Sierra Leone can be one of the richest, if not the richest countries on earth. We get the potentials, minus minerals. We get the potentials. We only need for develop one thing in that country. One thing now we need for develop. And that thing that they get for cost we $4 billion every year, which is not too much for a country like of Sierra Leone status for able to afford. And not too much if we're ready for do them. The things, the money what they spend on necessary things in that country, it almost amount to that. We can put that money to equip schools, provide teaching materials, and make sure see the human resource get the needed skills. We go attract investment, because investors don't go to our countries not because they are afraid of us, but because we not get the skills where they need. Nobody know they go up in furniture factory in a salon, they take people them from Europe and America for go work there. The person get for be crazy, because you get for pay the person the wage then they pay them in America, they pay them allowance back. So they make loss. They will go to mine minerals because you can employ any Jack and Tom for dig hole, for pull mineral there. But when it comes on specific industries, you need the skills. Without those skills, you cannot produce. But now left that for another day. Now we come to this topic. This topic is very important because as we continue to slide back, some of we understand we get for take the onus for begin try for make we understand, say, we are all blood relatives in Sierra Leone, irrespective of the language we speak. Even the ones that we call Creoles, they are our blood relatives. The records were there when they were sold by some of our forefathers into slavery. The white man was stupid, then get the records. Then no say na Sierra Leone, then we go take them people here, then bring them back. So they are our blood relatives. Now I make us say, now we can talk small about tracing our bloodlines. Tracing our bloodlines. What in that mean? Let we look, let we go back in time, let we see how much connections we get. Let we see why we get a lot of similarities in our country today than differences. If you look at Sierra Leone across, you look at Guinea, you look at Liberia, the first thing where they come to your mind is them people here, they all get similar names, both surname and first name. That's not an accident. The largest number of them surnames then they na Kamara. Kamara na they defend most na Guinea, na Sierra Leone, na Liberia amongst the native people them. After that, you get surnames like Conte, you get Koroma, you get Toure or Traore, you get Tagawali when na Toure or Traore, you get Fofana, you get Banguras, etc. These names cut across linguistic lines. There are people in Pujao who are Banguras. There are people in Cambia who are Banguras. There are people in Bombali who are Banguras. There are people in Potloko who are Banguras. What does that tell we? We not go sit down low, we think quietly and say, this not coincidence for make we all get the same surname. Then added to that, every district in Sierra Leone you go, you they meet a place where they call Sumbuya. Sumbuya. It is across the country. Is that an accident? No. You see, the problem we get in Sierra Leone is, one, we not get the attitude for find out. Now I make lie and propaganda bokuna the country. We not find out. Everything, if we see them, or then tell we, how we see them, how then tell we, so they accept them. Something there you get for look beyond what you see for understand why that thing turns so. Some things and they you get for go find out beyond what in and tell you for make you know. If they can't tell you say that person did not so it turn, not take them for that. Go find out. Maybe it was just a slight accident in time. I make the person behave that way, behave so. Maybe even under a kind of condition where enable control. Now I make you do what you get for do. But if you hold them against the person, maybe what you they hold against the person not correct. We people them we been sabi but we country, them been come with this motto. one country, one people. But a lot of people today, when you talk about one country, one people, the first thing they can have in mind na SLPP, na politics. No. As a matter of fact, the history of the formation of the Sierra Leone People's Party was with the intention of bringing together Sierra Leoneans. Because certain people them, we understand, say, we all get common origins. Now, make if you go, you look at the history of that party there, everybody from every sector of the country was involved one way or the other at the time of formation. The corner, then we get a young group, they agree for work. The southerners being get, the northerners being get, they agree for work, then come together. Along the line, round about 1958, then greed take over. From that day where greed enter, now the party begin do things them way. They like today. Whenever then they na power, what you they see, na masibo, na trouble. Enough for peace. And some of we no go sit down with set mouth like peace. We are all blood relatives in that country. Politics, not a God make politics, na mortal man make politics. And politics, we dey practice them according to how we dey think. Some people go say, well, politics dey pan religion because when God said this, Satan been say that. Yeah, that's disobedience. That's not politics. And disobedience, of course, not so that we can for discuss today, but there are times when disobedience is necessary. God will make the world. A getting reason will make you allow opposition, he allow disobedience, he allow everything. Because Yahweh say, if there were no problems, if there were no negatives, progress no go take place. Now we imagine, say, as a living being, thinking beings, we not being any reason for use with brain or with muscles. Now we imagine that for 1 minute, say, we'll not be able to get for any reason, because that's why some people, then they preach that philosophy of there'll come a time there'll be heaven. I say, no, I don't believe that. We have to walk. We have to think. We have to use the muscles, because that's the only time we can transform and evolve from what we be today for progress into the future. Evolution is a part of the creation processes where God institute. Even the religious books then tell we say God took time in the creation. The Bible says 7 days. Within each day, we're not a 24-hour period, as we sabi a day. Something was created, then we progress to another stage. And finally, God made man. Then out of man, he make woman. He say, una denaya, let una take care of this place. He not tell we say, Lord, can destroy this place. Let una take care. That means, because he don't put part of himself in we, it means say, we for use we intelligence and be creative. Yes, in the process we get for make mistakes, accidents go be here and there. But let not use we mistakes for destroy we self. There are nothing that happens in this universe by accident. Everything happens for a reason and for a time. If we understand that, then if we look at our background, who are we? That is what we have lost. We identity, we don't lost them. Now that make we deeper all this massive business na salon. We don't lost our identity totally. Everybody wants to claim that they are. No, we are all the same people from the same background. Which background? Before the fall of the Mali Empire, there were people in Sierra Leone. And people here mostly been there along the coastal area because the forest area was like an impossible no-go habitation for them because it was very thick. The people who have been there along the coast, they may get 3 or 4 main origins. Way out of that 3 or 4 origins, then learn for live together. You will get the one that we come on at the northern part from Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, when at the Baga. They. You get the Susu, they. You get the one that would talk the language then they call Bolom, where man can call Shabro, they. You will get people them way from that Liberia end, then self been they go on the sea for go fish in the Kuru, then been they. The Bassa been they. These people at that time then be able to manage for live together. Then one of the biggest empires in Africa, the Mali Empire, they exist alongside. The disconnect will not able to get 30 days, whether they were doing trade or not. Because at that time, not much was written down. Whatever was written down was written in Arabic by Arabs, where most of them records and they don't lost. The few records were been there in Timbuktu recently when the issue happened with the Tuaregs, a lot of them were destroyed. This is one of the problems we have in Africa, record keeping. All we they do now oral narration. And with time, when message they go from one person to another, a lot of changes they happen. One of the reasons this will make, in fact, it very difficult for research African anthropology and history. It takes a long time to make you able to get your materials them together. Well, of course, from around the 16th century, when Europeans then begin go out for search for new opportunities, new lands and everything, when the power dynamics now Europe begin change, then begin record some of them things here. When then they come in contact with the people them. Like for example, the Catholics were the first to have gone to West Africa. The Portuguese Catholics were in the Jesuit movement. They were there for a very long time before even the British and French went there. They did a lot of recordings on the governance system of the people, the relationship systems of the people, etc. They had records where they prove useful, they like today. But for make you able to connect the records and it's like a puzzle, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You just read this record, you read that record, you're able to see the relationships them. It takes time. And it takes further research because there are other materials you might bump into here and there where they make you able to see the link between one record and another. Of course, another thing about the record's difficulty of interpretation was that everybody will come write your record, been get your way, where they narrate the incidents, where he witness. Then at the same time, the nominal and name references, the more than the key. Most times it looks in contradiction with each other. So these are some of the difficulties, but the records are there. And since the Portuguese first went to the Upper Guinea coast, when they come in contact with people from that Guinea area up to Sierra Leone, there were records of a number of incidences, one of which was about the time of the Mali Empire fall. There was another small dynasty to the north around the Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, Gambia area, what they call the Koya Kingdom. Yanda you get Jola, you get Bambara, you get Fulani, then we been the rule. They were also part of the Mali Empire at some point, but they broke away. Gradually, the Mali broke down. Then you get a set of people who come from inland West Africa towards the coast. These people, now they give it the name na history as Manis. Well, of course, a lot of people think, oh, the Manis came by just one route south through Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire. No, they didn't. They came by several routes. Some came from the north through Guinea. Others came from Liberia. But all of them met at the point we call today Sierra Leone. There were wars, there were frictions here and there. But at the end of the day, they managed for able to map out something for live together. And they formed a governance system way being extend from southern Guinea-Bissau up to the Monrovia region of Liberia. That kingdom was called Koya. Koya. Today in Guinea, they have a name for Koya. They call it Koya. In Liberia, they have Koya. They talk about Koya Kama. In Sierra Leone, we get chiefdoms, they will name Koya. We get place we name Koya. Where most of we don't know. It's in the Gambia district. It's a small, ancient village, Koya. It did it. And then people have been come from both the north and the southeast. They came with a culture where mostly now they practice today as Sierra Leone. They came with surnames where mostly now we get today in Sierra Leone. They had a basic Madingo background. But through the years, intermarriages take place with the people that they meet, with other people that we come. So we bloodline don't come towards what they call a cosmopolitan mix. Just like America. When you go to America, you meet all the ethnic groups on earth in America. You meet all the languages on earth in America. But they mapped out something that has made them America. Yes, they have their problems. We know they have their problems. There is racism, there is everything. That one we can understand when we look at the history, especially the history where involves slave trade. But when we come to Sierra Leone, let us ask, why should a Bandi in Kailau detest is blood relative in Bombali. Because the people you call Bandi in Kailaun are the same people called Loko in the north. The name Loko come out of a misrepresentation of the name of the people. One of the leaders of the Loko or Bandi where they meet around that Songo Koya area, his name was Songo Loko. When he was asked, he said, I'm Songo Loko. They say, oh, he's leader of the Loko people. But they are Bandi. You talk about a chiefdom in Bombali, where then they call Nongowao. Then you go to eastern Sierra Leone, you meet Nongowa. Doesn't that tell us there is a connection? You talk about a place in eastern Sierra Leone, where then they call Pendembu. Then you go to northern Sierra Leone, you meet Gbendembu. Doesn't that sound similar? Are we really thinking in Sierra Leone? Have we benefited from the education that we claim to have? Because one of the things for education for Giwi, now the ability to critically decipher and connect things them. Are we using that in Sierra Leone? If not, why not? What is wrong with us that we cannot use that? Or is it because we have made education into a stepping stone, if I can call it that way? A stepping stone so that you can get big jobs, sit in big offices, and misuse funds. And you say, God don't help me. Which God is helping you to destroy yourselves? We have to begin to think in Sierra Leone. We have to begin to think. We've gone too low. We've gone too low. We've gone too low because we've lost our identity. We've gone too low because we don't even know who we are anymore. A Tarawali from Kenema will see a Tarawali from Bombali and call him the enemy, because the one from Bombali speaks Timini, the one from Kenema speaks Mende. How do you call that? Because I don't know which English word to use. Is it stupidity or morality? It's up to you to make your choice. It's up to me to begin to tell you people the hard truth, because only the truth shall set us free. Only the truth shall make us what we want to be. If we don't want to listen to that, let's go on this way. Let's go on this way. The only thing I would assure people is that if we don't begin to examine ourselves to change individually, to make the change in our beliefs, to make the change in our perceptions, to make the change in our attitudes, there will come a time when things go wrong and people come to us for sympathy, we'll tell them, go to hell. You were warned. Go to hell. Prevention is always better than cure. It's because we don't think preventive. That's why a lot of things are going wrong with us in Sierra Leone. We don't think preventive because we've lost all sense of identity. We are only on the survival mode. Everybody wants to survive. So we wrap ourselves around, we make a cyst around ourselves. That cyst is what we portray all the time, the ego. I. It's a protective, it's a psychological protection syndrome. When people become too egoistic, it's a psychological protection syndrome. We have to begin to look at what we can do for us to live together as a people. We have to begin to look at what we can do for us to begin to share respect for each other. Everybody has a place in this world. When I was going to school, every midnight, the radio company, that is today SLBC, which was by that time SLBS, and a government entity, had a culture of playing the last music for the day using the poem Desiderata. Desiderata. The poem that tells us, listen, go placidly in this world, go quietly in this world, go carefully in this world. Listen to everyone, because even the dull and the stupid, they too have something to say. But we have made ourselves into a set of people who insult our very humanity. Every human being has humanity in him. Every human being has a part of God in him. When God created mankind, as it is narrated in the religious books, he never said, let me make one class of people and I'll make another class. He said, let us make man after our image and our likeness. That means let us put part of us in mankind. Let us allow him a level of intelligence so that he can be able to transform the earth. But because, of course, that's not clearly explained in the religious books also. The first man and woman who were made, they went astray. They were told not to eat of a fruit of knowledge. They did. People don't understand what that means. The fruit of knowledge is the ego. The ego is a divine creation. It's part of us. It is there to instigate us to think and work harder. But when we misuse it, then it becomes a destructive force. That was the sin of Adam and Eve. They were instructed at that time, you are not yet ready to use the ego. Just be calm, grow gradually, and you'll reach the stage. Now, they were tempted. Whether not this path or can't tell with this. It's what we have in Sierra Leone today. The Sierra Leonean, when his fellow citizen talks to him, Abu lego me what you sabi pass me. But when other people come and talk to them, they listen to them. This ego, I don't destroy we. Added to the ego, well, of course, the origin of the problem itself was the ego, because some people felt that because they were given certain responsibilities or positions in society in the past, they should do anyhow. Some collaborated with the white men to sell their people into slavery. That collaboration now brings the second problem we'll get. And that problem is so deep in our society. But we seem not for the understand say the root of the problem na two, and all two na social factors, not a political or other factor. The root of the problems na we ego. Secondly, na mistrust. If people of the same bloodline, same origin, same surnames, people who have lived together for over 300 years, if up to this time, one set they call the other one the enemy, it tells us we don't have trust in each other. It tells us that. And that mistrust, when we get power as politicians, we institute them into governance. We do anyhow because we not trust we not trust the people who they govern. Say, oh, I don't care, that just take me on. That's the root cause of corruption. And not only for Sierra Leone, but for the whole of Africa. That problem of mistrust from long regimes of slave trade, long regimes of use of impunity by a ruling class. Na the problem of Sierra Leone, na the problem of Africa. But when you look at the bloodlines, it's difficult to trace. I am doing a research on that. I'm trying to write a book on that. I've been on it close to 2 years. I know what do you mean. All the amounts of research time and money spent, etc., etc. I know what do you mean. I know what do you mean. We get for calm and try for make peace with ourselves. We get for calm and try for understand who's our problems then come out. If we're not able to do that, then it get for be difficult for we. Look, I dey share a screen. This is now one of the research documents them where I don't read them. I had to pay for this. The white man has every record about what went wrong, how it went wrong. But for make you able to get the records here, most of them, you have to pay to access them. This is about 33 pages where they talk about how the slave trade affect African countries. There are other documents, the role of Islam, how families moved. Those who came from the north, the Suarez, the Lahai, the Fofana, the Tarawali, where then can see of us in Cambia, who side them and get an Islamic university. Then from there they moved. Some went south up to Pujang, some came to Freetown, some went to the east, some went to Moyamba. But today, when you look the families, them people of the same blood, the forefathers of Bilen Dixon chiefdom in Gambia may, of course, know they have relatives in Moyamba. The Tarawalis or Traores may know they have relatives in Moyamba. The Suarez may know they have relatives in Freetown and in Pujang. But today, they speak different languages. And therefore, each of them linguistic groups here, they consider themselves as different people. We are not. If we do a DNA test today in Sierra Leone, we would have a common background trace. Una low left this, I don't know how to say it. Because we go, we get educated, we come, we can't involve in what they call politics, we know to politics. It's just lies and propaganda and self-destruction. Nothing other than self-destruction. Because if you cannot build trust in a society, that society cannot make progress. If we don't trust each other, we cannot make progress. Even in the home, in the marital home, if the husband and the wife not trust each other, they don't ever sit down. They get for end up for scatter. And on a community, if una not trust una self, then una get for end up for the go fet every day go police. We are one people with a common background, maybe from 3 different angles, maybe from 4 different angles, maybe. But because we don't live so long, over 2 centuries, we don't intermarry, we don't interact, we are the same people now. We are the same people. DNA, culturally, in every way, we are the same people. When you go to any partner, Sierra Leone side and get power society, then get a town they will name, or a village we name Yoni. The big Yoni, they Tongo Lily, then call her Yoni Bana. Where you go your Kailan, Abont, you meet Yoni. You go Kailan, you meet her. You go Puja, you meet her. And this culture, then secret societies, then they in every district in Sierra Leone. Doesn't that tell us that we have a common background? Yeah, maybe a few were limited, like one day and the other one, then Bangbani, they're limited within specific areas. But there is a commonality. There is more commonality in Sierra Leone than differences. Yeah, we have 17 linguistic groups. We have 18 maybe. But language, yes, is part of culture, but it's not the culture itself. The culture goes beyond the language. Look at the practices, the traditions. Look at the dress patterns. Look at the food. Look at all the other things, the marriage, naming ceremonies at birth. Then kind contradictions then they. Don't we see the same across Sierra Leone? What is wrong with us? Did we commit a sin that is bigger than us? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, say, the problem is we adopt, we try to be within we no understand. All of us want to be Westerners. Even me, they talk to you, so I know Sabi talk me language again. Now, pass a mixer. This is our problem. We need to go back and find out. And we need to do so with respect and peacefully. For those of you in government, stop using impunity. You may think, oh, I'll get away with it. Yeah, you will get away with it. But do you know what would happen to your generations yet unborn? Do we know whether it's because of the participation of some of our forefathers in selling their kinsmen and women into slavery? Now I make today we confuse. We have lost our soul. We have lost our soul in Sierra Leone. We have lost everything that should make us human. Now we are nothing but economic machines without emotions. That's why we did do all until they do wrong. So in a place, Usai, the people all get the same background, the same origin. Even the way they call Fula. Yeah, Fula man get Jalo, then get Bad, then get Saw, then get Lee. Oh, get Kamara. Don't you see there is a connection? Don't you see? We need for learn. We need for learn. We need for take patience and time and sit down and ask each other and even ask we self individually. What you go gain? But all what you they do so. Belows. We don't see people let on belows, but come here they talk so. I come up from a family where they may get properties and houses in Sierra Leone. There were properties and houses owned by the Jalo Jamboya family. The stretch from PCMH up to Lower Savage Square was Jalo Jamboya property. When the old man was asked to give it to the British because they wanted to use it to build the hospital then called Cottage, today called PCMH, then they want to give part of the area to the Anglican Church for build voting safe. They gave him the equivalent pieces of land on the western side of Freetown, where then they call Tengbe Town today. They're telling them they call the Tengbe Fakai. Today, if you go there, you meet a whole area out and say Anajalo Jamboya area. I remember the time where they want make Guard Street, they want convert them from railway track to Motoka Road. That was in the 70s. That mound where they between Frobe Road by Patton Street Junction and Guard Street have been still a Jalo Jamboya property. The government had to pay some money for make no more than take that area there for make that mound, that division. Where is all of it today? Look at me sitting far away in Norway. Do you think I care about that? No. There have been other people with bigger names where we don't get greater amount of property than us alone. Where is it all today? Are we going to continue to gain the whole world and lose our souls? Are we? Are we wise enough to stop this self-destruction? Can we sit down as a people and talk to each other? Especially so those who have the greater responsibility, who have been given the mandate to control the affairs of the state. Do you have the courage to sit down and say, let us allow the past to be. Let us make peace with ourselves. Can we stop? Oh, this been done do am, so we say for do am. Hey, if your papa na been drunk, man, you say for be drunk, man. If your papa na been thief man, you say for be thief man. If your papa na been killer, you say for kill. Does that make sense to anyone? Can we please turn down the heat in Sierra Leone? Not for our sake, for the sake of our posterity. Because if we not turn down the heat, there is no hope for the posterity of that country. That country will be inherited by foreigners. Take it from me. If we sit on the fet we self, una look no more. Promo get independence. Salomon and Salomon the fet pan politics. They are now show me 1 billionaire in a salon. One when a billionaire. No, they. Maybe a few get a few $100,000 a sector. We don't have any billionaire because we not get peace. Where there is no peace, there is no progress. And where there is no peace, now foreigners they profit. Look at the economy of Sierra Leone. Who is in control? Who is in control? Check a good look. Take a good look. Check. Who is in control? Is it Sierra Leoneans or people who are not Sierra Leoneans? Can we stop this now? Please. If we not stop them, some of we not get anything for lose. Me, I don't tell people them, I don't tell me friends them say, I'll give Sierra Leone another 3 years of my life. I go talk within need for be said. I don't care whether people like it or not. At the age where they are not, they look for make new friends. I've had my friends in life. And I have a best friend. My best friend is my wife. So I know look for make new friends. I look for extend humanity, empathy to my fellow human beings. So I have another 3 years to talk. After 3 years, if things continue as they are, hey, I'll change my telephone number. I'll delete my social media profiles. I'll spend my last days quietly. Una try it. Una try it. Where God be make the art and not been draw boundaries say, yana salon, yana futa, yana Maasai land. All of those things came about because of necessity. If necessity get for force me for be born na Sierra Leone and not ever go there, I have no regrets. I have no regrets. I would die in a place where I would have a marble gravestone. Generations upon generations in centuries will come and see that gravestone. Some of you running for everything that you think is important. When you die, your grave will not even exist for a year. Because we know how then they make graves then at Sierra Leone. You'll be obliterated from the face of the earth. Unallow try, allow make salon. If we're not ready, some of you they come for help. I'll stop there for today.